it was nice to be back out there after 15 days off, to get the rust off a bit, and just get back to competing and doing something that we love. It's always a little tricky. This was our 4th time hosting, I think, a first-round game, and there's always a strange pressure. There's always especially coming off, our last game wasn't a great one in Vegas, and it was just neat to see this team work through it last night. For all of us, just remembering who we are accurately, and then, of course, being challenged the way we were forced everybody to rise. And it was just fun, to be honest, to compete in a game that certainly could have gone either way, and to find a way to win it. But for me, I just love watching this team compete and rise. And we were just talking in the locker room how the way everybody was sat in the bleachers for the tournament. We had our families behind our benches in that first section, and it was so fun to watch their families go crazy down the stretch of this game with every big shot or kind of amazing play or pressure-packed play, and just to see the joy and it was a blast, actually. And so, now we move on. And so as soon as that game was over, of course, the sobering reality, we've got another great team coming at us in Gonzaga, a team that's used to being here in many ways. They've been to Corvallis before. They're in the tournament every year, and they're used to winning. And they have a great team that has very few weaknesses. They've got a great inside presence, great perimeter game, great plan, and the thing that stands out to me the most is their discipline. They make very few mistakes, and so it's a team that obviously does not beat themselves. If you're going to beat Gonzaga, you have to beat them, and so it's been fun to work with the staff, through the night almost, to get ready to this point. We just watched film, and we're looking forward to practice today.
Scott, I know they've lost a couple of players. So how much film do you guys have with what they've got right now? Is it a smaller, view of what you can take a look at? And does that change a lot of what they do, or do they kind of continue to do some of the same things?
I think it's very similar, and I think what you'll notice with the people that are filling in those gaps in just more significant roles, they all played before. Their roles and their minutes are expanded. Is that they're all rising. We just talked about that. What would you do, or what did we do when Cat went down? We've talked about this so many times. Well, that's where this team is at now. And so right away we had to play 2 days later. They had to play the next day, and then the next week we're in LA. Playing against USC and UCLA when it was Cat, and here they are in the tournament the next week. And so you're reconfiguring things. As a staff, you're going to your strength. They've kind of changed from a staff mindset. I don't think their system's different, but what I've been impressed with is those players have all risen. Loetta and Campbell have really stepped up. Chandler's such a great playmaker. Anyway, her playmaking has stepped up, and so. Adversity from the outside, which injuries are, galvanizes a good group, and it can either, adversity tears you apart or it brings you together, and on a program that has a great culture, it's going to bring you together, and so that's what I see in them.
Scott, I noticed that Taya has played. She played all 45 yesterday. She's like number 2 in her team in minutes. How's her game evolved? I was a little surprised to see that she was number 2 in minutes on your team. How's her game evolved this season?
I probably just from a consistency standpoint, in seeing herself as impactful as she can be. She does so many things so easily on the floor. We really saw her emerge last year down the stretch of our season. She started, I think, right around the beginning of Pac-12 is when she began to start as a freshman for us, and then really rose during the tournament run last year. Her performances, I couldn't take her off the floor against Tennessee or Baylor with her rebounding ability, her defensive ability, and her quickness. And then, she's such an amazing passer, and she stretches the floor with her three-point shot. So she's just a very good player. This year, we've seen that physicality all year, from the beginning. And so She went through a slump in February. I think everybody, she just didn't shoot the ball as well as normal. It's normal, part of the game. And then once we hit Vegas, she's playing against hometown team Washington, and she played out of her mind. I mean, she was one of the real bright spots on that trip, and it was just to see her emergence. Like I've said earlier, remembering who she is. I mean, she's a dynamic, fantastic player. So I just see, her mind is always right. She's more of a leader this year because she hears it. She just knows what she's talking about now. She knows, and so you hear her voice a little bit more, and she's become, in many ways, a go-to player for us in whatever role that might be.
Katie, this is definitely positively your last game of Yale now. Are the emotions kind of the same as the senior night one, or is it different?
I honestly haven't really thought about that, but yeah, I mean, last time in Gill, just amazing to be in this position with this team, this opportunity to be in the second round, and going to take full advantage of it. I'm going to really just take it all in with our fan base there and having my family there, and I know it's going to be another fun game for us.
Coach, can you talk about Katie Baker and what she's meant to your program as assistant coach?
Yeah. Katie Baker's fun to talk about, and it's Faulkner now, for all you long timers. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, she's just a dynamic, fantastic, talented, joyful person. And when we had an opening on our staff, she was recommended to me. I didn't know who she was. We didn't play Montana back then, and she was beyond me in the recruiting game at that point. And so I talked to her on the phone. I said, "You're recommended to me. Let me get to know you." And I mean, how can you not love this person? She just got this endearing personality. And so we brought her out, and she was a GA at Wisconsin at the time. And then we had so many different people in common that I stayed with the conversation. I didn't know if she was the right person because of her lack of experience at the time, but I knew I needed this person as a part of our program. She shares a lot of the similar, well, pretty much every similar philosophy to me and what we're doing and why we're doing it. Selfless, giving, about the students, an excellent teacher and a communicator, as everybody who knows her knows. Also just a great competitor, and so all those things were a perfect match. And then as that summer went on and the process of hiring evolved, it was evident to me she's the one, and so here she is. And so she's been, I don't know, dynamic's the word. She's just been a dynamic piece to this puzzle and can do so many different things, whether it's helping us on a social media side, to what she does working with the posts, to being a dynamic recruiter for us. She's got an incredible work ethic, and so she is everything that this program's about and is a perfect fit here. And she's been awesome.
Anything else? Coach, 4 years ago, Gonzaga came here and knocked you guys off. Since then, you guys have taken this program to new heights. Obviously, there's no rear-view mirror in this game. You just keep it going. But what did that game mean at all as far as, hey, we have to get better as a program?
That game fueled a Final Four. That was it was interesting. Kind of the things I alluded to at the very beginning, the pressures of being at home are more significant, I think, anyone on the outside would expect. I mean, just like last night, you've got a team that has nothing to lose coming in. I mean, they do, but they don't. They're not expected to win in a Boise State in Corvallis. They're a 13 seed. We're a 4 seed. We're supposed to win this game. Well, they're a team that's won 28 games. They're a conference champion. They've cut nets. They're coming in sky high, and they're very good. We're supposed to win. We've got 5,000 people plus expecting us to win and wondering why it's not easy, and we haven't played for 2 weeks. All these things are difficult to deal with. Well, that was our very first time hosting. That was our first time at winning conference. It was our first time in all these areas. And that Gonzaga team was exceptional. It was a tough matchup for us anyways. And so they were a team used to winning. nothing to lose. We're coming in here and we're going to spoil the party. And so we learned a lot of lessons that day. Our program evolved with the pain of that loss led to, that was a Sunday probably, on a Monday, just hanging out in my office, and Jamie Weisner and Sydney Weiss walked in, and Jamie Weisner said, I ain't going out like this next year. And she was a junior at the time. And so we all know that she became a first-team All-American and helped lead this team to a Final Four the following year. And so it's just the natural progression of the program. It's like, how do you handle this moment? There's really no substitute than experience, you know, and at this time of year, everybody's good. So who cares about the circumstances? Who cares about where you are, who's there, who you're playing against? Find a way to win the game. And so I think this team has just, or this program has evolved that way since then, knowing that every night's going to be a war. It doesn't matter who's on the other side.
And finally, speaking of deep tournament runs, Louisville's waiting again. Is that some motivation for you?
Definitely some motivation. I mean, we finished off our season playing them last year, and I mean, we fought them as tough as we could have, and I mean, give that credit to them. They're a great team. They have great players. Asia Durr is an amazing, one of the top players in the country. But I mean, they're playing well. We're playing well. It's going to be first we got to beat Gonzaga, so we're looking forward to that game first, and then if it turns out we make it there, then that'll be the team that we're focused on then.